What's going on? This is your man John Fortune, your host of the Frustrated Fan Sports Show. And today, Washington shellaxed the Dallas Cowboys 26-6 in a game that was so one-sided. You would have thought that we was the team trying to make the playoffs, and that Dallas was the one who had the opportunity to win the last spot. Like, two totally different teams. This further cements the Carson Wentz problem, because if our backup seems to play well in games, and Carson Wentz basically drove the bus into the wall, this further lets us know that Carson Wentz's time in the NFL is over, that Ron Rivera made a huge mistake trading for Carson Wentz. Not only that, for you Howell hopefuls, my man Cedric Moore, he's one of those guys. Love you, Sid. Again, this is one of these situations where, how do y'all really feel? Do y'all feel that he is the future of our franchise, or do you feel that we should still draft another quarterback? You know, he looked very good. He looked very crisp. There was some stuff that he's still making mistakes on. But a lot of that was also, again, Scott Turner's play calling. Like, Scott Turner calls some of the weirdest plays at times, and it's just like, I don't even know what he's thinking. Like I said, it just, to me, it just seems like he just goes off of a script. Like, it's just, he has the plays on the script, and he's just reading off the script. It's almost like he doesn't care if it's 3rd and 10, 3rd and 7, 4th and 1. If it's 4th and 1 and the play calls for, and he got written on his play sheet, a pitch, he's gonna do the pitch instead of saying it's 4th and 1. Let's do something different. Sam Howell throws an interception. It was a bad interception. It was definitely a bad interception. But I do feel that he will get better, which is something that I was telling people all along. Like, in the preseason, you saw he needed stuff he had to work on. And now we're seeing what sitting on the bench and letting a guy learn does for him. Again, funny at how, again, our backup can find Terry McLaurin more than Carson Wentz could. So, like I said, again, very good game. For you Dallas people who's watching this video, I wouldn't be surprised if you guys go out in the first round again. That was a awful showing, especially for a team going into the playoffs. And I understand that Tampa Bay may not be the best team, but at the same time, you guys basically wet the bed in this game, because there was no way, absolutely no way Washington should have beat you, especially with so many of our backups in the game. So many of our backups was in the game. And the fact that you guys sat up there and still lost tells me a lot about the moxie of your team. Your team is not ready. Your team like I said, I tell everybody this. Bet on Dallas during the regular season. Don't bet on them in the playoffs, because they're going to disappoint. And the sad thing about that is that you guys could have done something this year. You guys could have done something this year. And what it seems like to me is that here we are again. A lot of Dallas fans are going to again feel the disappointment of going into the playoffs and going out in the first round. You guys are like a revolving door. You get in and you get out. In fact, you're like Will Ferrell's character in Elf. It's just it's no need for you to go out of the other side of the revolving door. Just stay in the revolving door and just keep going around and then come out on the other side, on the outside. Because again, you guys are just not ready. And it's sad to say that, especially when you have what I feel is a pretty solid quarterback. But again, like I said, that was a very poor showing for you guys, and I'm sorry to say it, but you guys are out of the playoffs. First round, you out. And like I said again, Tampa Bay may not be playing its best, but I don't know. Tom Brady and Mike Evans seems to have fixed whatever issues they had with each other. So again, you guys might be out the first round. So I'm not saying, but I'm saying. But back to Washington. Again, very good story with Washington. Like I said again, I don't see why some of these young guys didn't get an opportunity earlier in the season. I mean, it would have been nice to see some of these guys early in the season and see them getting a lot of burn and stuff like that, especially these guards, man. I mean, because Norwell wasn't that good this year. Trey Turner wasn't that good this year. And to be quite honest, it was very sad. It was really, really sad. So, again, to follow up a disappointing season, we end the season with a win just so Ron can sit up there and prove that he can win more than 7 games. I'm still not impressed. Because not only am I not impressed about this, you now ruined our draft selection, and that's an ego thing from Ron. And I don't care what nobody says. Everybody can get mad at me about this, but I wanted us to lose this game. I wanted us to lose this game because we needed the higher pick. We needed the higher pick. It didn't have to be a quarterback. It could have been something else. But still, we needed that higher pick. Now we got to hope and pray that something falls to us that we desperately need, like an offensive lineman, like a kicker, even though we ain't picking kickers in the first round. But my God, Joey Sly, what in the hell was happening? Even though, don't get me wrong, Dallas's kicker wasn't doing too well neither. But even with that being said, Joey Sly, I mean, come on, man. I mean, like, really? But again, this is a failure on Ron and his personnel. Like, I mean, he's made some disastrous mistakes. I mean, from the moment he got here. I mean, you talking about, do y'all know that in reality, there were guys that, you know, I know a lot of people like to play the revisionist history game, but there were quarterbacks he could have drafted, but he didn't. Instead, he traded for Kyle Allen, who basically never really played here all like that. I mean, he played in a partial game, and I think he played in one other game or something like that. But again, that was a guy that Ron traded for. That was a guy that Ron traded for his first year here. Then he signs Ron Fitzpatrick, which didn't work well for us, and we saw that coming. And then he does the same thing with Carson Wentz. I don't need Ron sitting up in here bringing another veteran in at all. Let's see what Sam Howell can do. I will say this. I would like Taylor to be back. I know my man said, I didn't do the comment show because a lot of the stuff that was said in the comments was going to be said here in this thing. Said that he wants Taylor Heineke to be gone because he doesn't want the next quarterback or whoever's coming into play to be looking over their back. That's a reasonable thing to say and understand, but also understand this. If a guy comes in and he's not better than your backup or the guy you deem the best, the perfect backup, then maybe he shouldn't be here. If a guy can't beat out Taylor Heineke, straight flat out beat him out, not because the coach brought him in, not because they're paying him a certain amount of money, not because he's a draft pick. If none of them can beat Taylor out, flat out, beat Taylor out of the starting job, then guess what? They shouldn't be in here competing for the starting job. They shouldn't be in here trying for the starting job, and they damn well shouldn't be given the starting job. And I'm telling this directly from the heart. If a guy cannot beat out your backup, then he does not need to be here. He does not need to be given a job that he can't beat the back out of. So again, I did like the way that Sam Howell played. But for me, I still feel that Taylor needs to be here. I really do. Now again, I told y'all in my last video, I do feel that there will be a market out there for Taylor. There will be a huge market out there for Taylor. There will be a lot of teams that want a guy like Taylor Heinicke on their roster. Because again, Taylor's good for 6 games. He's definitely good for 6 games. And if a guy goes out, and then all of a sudden you're talking about the possibility of Taylor coming in, he can give this guy a 6-week break until he's able to come back. And you talking about Taylor could mess around and end up in 6 games, almost 6-0, 5-1, 4-2. Taylor, he can do that. And what can happen is that when the starter comes back, boom, they're still in the playoff chase. I don't think you understand how many teams feel that that's a valuable commodity to have. A lot of teams feel that. So, again, like I said, very good win by the Washington team. Again, I am not happy because we now fall down the draft order. It wasn't important for us to win 8 games. It just wasn't. It doesn't help for the future. It doesn't help for anything because that pushes us down the draft order. And again, here we are again, because I think we all talk about it. We're never bad enough to draft super high, but we're never good enough to draft super low. So now we're in a situation where we have things that we absolutely need, and none of that stuff may fall to us. You're talking about the top cornerback, in my opinion, Ringo from Georgia. We may miss out on him because we're drafting so low. I mean, we're drafting really low. 10th, we might have been able to snatch him at 10th or 9th. And now you're talking about we're going to be drafting around, I think at this point it might be, from the assessments, it might be 19 or 20. So, this is where the coach-centric approach didn't work for Ron Rivera. He wasn't the guy to do that with. He just wasn't. So when it comes down to it, Ron will be here because the team isn't going to be sold before February. I mean, even though like I said, Bezos can come up with the cash flat out. But I'm also tell y'all this. Don't believe the reports that's out there right now about these 2 other guys, because I'm going to let y'all know something. The NFL made it a very clear point of letting people know that are bidding on the teams that nothing can come out about who the buyers are, period. And because of that, what's being said out there is not the truth. Don't believe what you're hearing in regards to who may be possibly buying the team. Because, again, the NFL has made it very clear, very, very clear. They do not want anyone knowing who's going to purchase the team. Because for them, because there's a lot of owners who are also trying to cash out. I'll give y'all this little caveat. There's a lot of owners that actually want to cash out of the NFL. And they feel that they can cash out as billionaires without having to deal with the NFL's teams grinding and stuff like that. And a lot of teams are waiting for what Washington is going to get before the rest of them start cashing out. That's the truth. But I'm telling y'all, anybody who has any information that's telling you that these guys are coming out and all this type of stuff, and don't believe it. Because, like I said again, the NFL has made it very strict. They have very strict rules because they don't want anyone knowing who's buying the Washington franchise. They've made that very clear. So anything that's leaking out, anything that's being said, don't believe it. It's whoever's saying it is coming from them and their team. And that's the honest truth. But like I said again, big, huge win. Big, huge win. It was a win that I didn't want. It was a win that I didn't care for. It was a win that, in my opinion, puts us in a position where the best player at a position of need will not be there for us. Like I said, the cornerback Ringo from Georgia is the guy that I felt would have been a great fit for us. I mean, the perfect fit. His size, his coverage ability, all that type of stuff. And because we're not really, and it's not to say that Benjamin St. Juste won't come back, but he's been out a pretty long time this time around. I mean, you're talking about him and Sam Cosmi has been in and out of the lineup for 2 straight years. I'm not saying that they're bust, but they're at this point they're just injury prone, and that situation of being prone to injuries often, 9 times out of 10, some guys end up having very long careers after they've been deemed injury prone, but then there are some guys that never come back from it. Remember, we had Jordan Reed here, and we could not wait for Jordan Reed to come back, and he just could not make it back. So, again, like I said, we'll see how this goes. I will be coming to you guys pretty much fairly often this week. I might actually be coming to y'all every day with a video because I'm going to give my assessment of the season, the state of the union of the NFL, the state of the union of the Commanders. I'm going to go through my we're going to revisit my assessment, the top 10 things that I needed to see this season. Of course, you know it's coming. My coach's evaluation show, so that's going to be on the coming up too. So you guys will probably more than likely see content from me every day this week. So again, and of course, I'm going to have my comment show come back. Again, like I said, when I read through the comments, a lot of the comments that were being talked about were stuff that was actually that I was going to be bringing up in this particular show. So again, like I said, again, Sam Howell looks great in his season debut. He does look like a guy who can compete for the starting job at quarterback come next year. I would rather us not have Scott Turner here next year because, again, I would rather have a guy who's a solid offensive coordinator and not go down this path again. I'm not going to tell y'all how the next season is going to happen right now. I'll wait till free agency happen and the draft happen, and then I'll give you guys my assessment of the NFL season and stuff and what the schedule might look like. But other than that, y'all tell me what y'all think. Do y'all think that Sam Howell is the future? Do y'all think that we should go after a quarterback again? Does this give us the benefit of drafting a quarterback who might fall in this draft? Wink, wink. Other than that, y'all tell me what y'all think. What do y'all think about the season? How do y'all feel about how the season ended? Other than that, this has been your man, John Fortune, and this has been the Frustrated Fan Sports Show.